I'm here to tell you not to listen to me? Hello everybody, I'm Roadblock and this is a Raid Shadow Legends video. If I've made this video before, please feel free to let me know. I went and did a short search through my content library because I do record a lot of videos that I don't send to my editor. And this, I think, has been one of them in the past, but it's something I really wanted to touch on and I really wanted to talk about. And so obviously my intro seems a little weird, like why would a content creator say, hey, don't listen to me, right? And I'm going to elaborate on that, of course. The point that I wanted to make and wanted to really emphasize is that what is good for my account may not be good for your account. What is good for accounts that I've done takeovers on may not be good for your account. The way I manage my free-to-play may not be good for your lifestyle or how you plan to play the game, right? Advice in this game is never perfectly clear. It's never it's really hard to do. It's really hard to give like the perfect advice without getting into the account and kind of figuring it out and being like, well, you know, build this champion, move this gear here, move that gear there. So I wanted to kind of make a video about this, kind of talking about how, and this goes for all content creators, that you really need to deeply analyze kind of what they're talking about and apply it accordingly. There's a lesson I learned very, very early in my Raid Shadow Legends journey, long before I ever started making content in this game. And this is not to disparage them, but I watched a video about... Listen up, I just got a new promo link that you can use to follow along with me on my latest free-to-play adventure and get a free Elenaril, as well as 3 more powerful epics as you level up. Here's how to do it. Log out of Play and Play and uninstall. Click the link in the description and register with a brand new email. Launch Raid and complete the tutorial. Go to your inbox and claim your first champ. Don't miss out on your chance to get Elenaril right after signing up, as well as Fayne, Uugo, and Tagoar as you progress through Raid. Click on my link right now and let's crush this together. Saurus. Now Saurus is actually a pretty good campaign farmer. He has 2 AoE hits. He's an uncommon, but if you have the right gear, good gear, you can build him to be a pretty fast campaign farmer. Now, I've personally had better luck with other campaign farmers, most notably Fellhound. I had better success with Fellhound. One of the issues, so why am I talking about Saurus and Fellhound? So early on in my Raid Shadow Legends career, I wanted a faster campaign farmer than the Elhain, because I was the first ever rare that I picked when I first ever played this game, and I wanted a faster campaign farmer than Elhain. So I found a video about campaign farming, and it told me that, oh, Saurus is a really good campaign farmer. Oh, I can get a Saurus. He's farmable. You can go get him in-game very easily. And so I built a Saurus. I put my best gear on him, which wasn't enough because it's an uncommon, and I didn't know how gear worked properly at the time. So I was putting 4-star boots and, you know, probably in a flat attack chest and stupid mistakes that we all probably made at one point or another in our Raid Shadow Legends careers. And so I really wanted to kind of mention this as an example that content may not have been the right content for me at my point in the development of my account, because I needed to learn about gearing first. I had other lessons I needed to learn. Now, ultimately, I did get a Fellhound, and Fellhound was a little bit easier to build because I could build him in attack stats and defense stats, because if you don't know, Fellhound does damage based on defense and attack. And so this was just easier for me to build, and by the time I got the Fellhound, I had learned better, but I had wasted a lot of resources building and developing a Saurus. And that's actually still true today. As you can see, here is my Saurus. Now, this is not the gear that I had put on him. We're talking a very, very long time ago. But I did level this Saurus, ascend this Saurus, and put a bunch of gear on the Saurus. I even got some masteries that I thought would help in him being a campaign farmer. And ultimately, it was all for nothing. The champion has been mostly unused, with the exception of being a stunner, being in a stun set for faction wars. So, but that was a big lesson for me. It's also one of the reasons why I wanted to get into content creation, because I wanted to try and make content for everybody, and I also wanted to be, and this is no like slight against anybody else, but I really wanted to be forthright in my commentary. And kind of what's spawning this was a comment that I saw, like, I don't know if it was today or the other day. I've gotten really good at handling comments, and I mostly just delete them when I'm like, whatever, screw that guy. And it was talking about my clan boss video that I put out a while ago, which they were right. Like, there really wasn't any new information. I just gave information about drop rates and percentages, which is, you know, what I did in that video. But I was very open and honest about how I didn't know everything, and that's just how I approach life. That's how I approach this game. I try to be open and honest with you guys that, hey, I don't know everything. So I don't know the exact percentages and the exact math behind how X, Y, and Z is going to work in Raid Shadow Legends, but I know that when I use this champion, I have success, and when I don't use that champion, I die. And so it's just kind of how I do things. I just want to try and put things in layman's terms for people so that they can kind of understand it at a simpler level, or at least at the level that I understand it, because I can take complex information and make it make sense in my head, right? You know, if people want to talk about like multipliers and because I'll put it this way, right? If somebody said like this character has this multiplier, I couldn't tell you if it was high or low, right? If somebody said, yeah, he's got a 7 times multiplier, I'd be like, okay, is that good, right? I would have to go, for me, I go to Hal Hades' site and be like, oh, look, it says godlike, or it says, you know, good or average or whatever for the multipliers, because I just don't know that information, and that's a little more in depth than I'm willing to look in. But what I can say is like, hey, I put this champion in, I don't know exactly what the multipliers are, but this guy smacks, and he has been, you know, doing X, Y, and Z for me, and has completely changed my progression in this game. So that's just how this channel is going to operate. Unfortunately, just with my life where it's currently at, and I've talked about this briefly on some other videos, I think, but I am, you know, I spent several months trying to really build and push this channel to potentially bring enough income to support me and my family. Unfortunately, wasn't even close to any of the goals that I had set out for myself on the channel, and therefore I am looking for work again, and I don't know what that's going to do. I have no intentions of stopping the channel. It just may alter my recording schedule. It may alter the way videos come out. It may, you know, there are some things that might change if I find work, which I hope to find by the end of the summer when my kids go back to school. So overall, like this summer, I've been extremely busy. I've been doing a ton of stuff with family, and I've had one of the best summers of my life, to be completely honest with you guys. So I'm more active than I've ever been. But what does that mean? I'm not going to be the guy that's going to be diving into the code and researching very, very hard, and I don't have test server access. I don't have time to run and, you know, multiple teams and do some of the more complicated things behind the scenes that deliver really high quality content. What's more important to me, and you guys have all said this in the comments, I already know that, is my family, right? And so at the end of the day, I just wanted to kind of say that I try to make content for everybody. I try to talk in a way that I think everybody will understand, and I'm going to get things wrong, and I'm going to get things right. And it's just, you know, how I operate. It's just who I am as a person, and everyone's imperfect, and I think it's important that we remember that kind of stuff, because it can get lost in translation quite often. And I would rather be the guy who is open and honest about not knowing everything than be somebody who says they know everything and then gets called out and gets defensive about it. By the way, I'm not talking about anybody in particular, at least not in the raid community. So, you know, just wanted to say that, right? I'm not in a bad spot. I'm not butthurt about anything, but I did want to say that, like, take everything that I say with a huge grain of salt, because I can sit there and talk to you about an arena team and tell you that, you know, a go first team is the way to do it, and you need to have a really, really fast team. You need to have 400 speed arbiter, and you're gonna say, oh, my fastest arbiter is only, you know, 366. What 400? I can't have a 400 speed arbiter. That commentary isn't for you. Like, I learn this all the time, especially when I'm like in Drock's chat or when Drock comes on the channel, like, you know, we'll have conversations about the speeds and stuff. And it's like, you know, I'm not losing speed battles, you know, like every now and then I will, but that you could say the same thing about really high end players. They've got 400, 450, I'm making up numbers here, but they have these really high speed, you know, go first teams, and they still also lose a speed battle, right? So, you know, it's all relative to what's going on in your account. And, you know, 366 speed is plenty fast enough for me to win a reasonable number of speed battles in the arena. And, you know, when you're hearing other people talk about, you know, the development of their account, it may be a lot harder for you. Another example of this, and I'm checking my time to make sure I'm not going too long here. We're very early, so this is good. Another example of this, and this is one that I personally screwed up really, really bad, but I did have a member of the community that reached out, and they are been in my community for a very long time, a little bit of a friendship and rapport there, and they reached out about their Phantom Shogun Grove team wasn't working, and I took over their account, and I tried and I tried and I tried, and I got a team to work once. They watched it, like I gave them a stream on Discord, and they watched it, and I said, cool, there you go. They logged in and it failed right away, and then I logged back in and it kept failing for me, and failing and failing and failing, and I'm just like, I don't know what happened. This team worked 30 seconds ago. Why now is everything going to hell, right? And so basically, what we found out by researching other videos and other content creators is you actually need to have a minimum level of blessings in order to get that team to work, that Phantom Shogun Grove team, right? And the reason is because if the boss reaches a certain number of stacks and you can't reduce those, then he just changes the mechanics a little bit. Now, I don't remember exactly what it was. I'm not going to go into all the details, but it was, because that's not what this video is about. Maybe I make a separate video on it. But yeah, it was very important to have, you don't need to have 6 and 5-star blessings, but it is important to have, there was a minimum, I think. Hopefully they'll see this video and they'll go ahead and remind me, or I'll go through my messages and find where it was that we had talked about it. But, you know, that's something where there are a lot of people who are like, hey, I built this team and it's still failing. This is happening. And it's like, oh, well, you know what? You might not have enough blessings. And I didn't know that until this happened. I didn't know that, because anytime I built that team, I had enough blessing on my rares, because I knew that that would be the team that I would make. So even on new accounts, I would keep those souls for those champions to make sure that I would have enough ways to mitigate that mechanic. So yeah, I just wanted to say, like, you know, content creators, we get it wrong sometimes. There are certain things that I'm passionate about, and again, it's all my opinion too, right? Like, this is my opinion and how the game feels to me and how I interpret things in the game. So there are champions that people love that I don't like, and there are champions that people hate that I love, and you know, that's just the way that this game goes. And so I think it's very important to understand that everyone has a different opinion, and not everybody is going to be correct and give you the absolute best advice in this game. You are going to have to kind of read between the lines a little bit and find out what information in that video is really important for me and really can help me out on my account. So I just wanted to give, like, maybe a disclaimer video almost, I guess. I don't know, but it was something that's been on my mind lately. We do have a fusion coming up in a couple of days, hopefully. I'm excited for that, and you'll see a lot of content on that. But yeah, I really wanted to make content on this. I mean, this was just a really good spot because I didn't really have anything else to put in a video today. So I just want to say, as always, guys, just legitimately thank you so much for all your support. It really does mean the world to me. I really can't put it into words. I look at my channel, and sometimes, especially this summer, because I've been neglecting the channel quite a bit, I don't really even realize how far we've come on the channel. You know, I look at other content creators, and this is not dogging on anybody, but I look at them and I'm like, wait, I have more subscribers than them? That doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? And and that's all thanks to you guys at the end of the day. So thank you guys for your support. And if you are one of the new players or here, maybe you've never seen my content before, or maybe you've been waiting for that moment to subscribe, and you just happen to stay here long enough to hear this message, well, please consider subscribing, because it is a great way to help my channel. My ultimate goal in life is to eventually turn either this or multiple YouTube channels into content. I would like to go back to daily streaming and all those things, but you know, I also have responsibilities reason. So put that on hold for a little bit and just growing our community, keep growing the roadblock community, and then see where it goes from here. So I just wanted to make a little bit longer of a thank you for you guys, and I look forward to seeing all of you in the next video. Take care.